once again, I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to do anything to legitimize someone else's opinion.
Yo. All right, you good? Have a good day. Get about it now. You get it later. Shows. Let me show you how to do this, son. None before it, none to come. So, I gotta use the dramatics. Because everybody got skills. I just don't. You know what I mean? That's my license. How to do this, son. So they can go around saying whatever they want. They gotta sit down and do that work. You can't discredit somebody for doing the work. That's a license. Get one. You go educate yourself and become a producer. You know, Mr. Klein, how you doing? Appreciate you. So anyway, you know, they want to tell you what you capable of doing. Okay. Well, if that's the case, put a smile on your face, baby. Because I know what I'm capable of. I'm a producer. Yeah, just like they need a producer. You know, movie actors and all them type of people. I'm a producer. Yeah. I produce and sell health insurance. And what I like to see is how everybody's been quiet as hell in that spectrum. You ain't got nobody waving the flag doing YouTube videos day and night saying, how do you write a Medicare plan? How does a Medicare plan work? Well, this is how a Medicare plan works. A Medicare Advantage plan. That's what they call it, right? Advantage. Wonder why they call it an Advantage plan. They don't call it fake it till you make it plan. They don't call it I hope one day it works out plan. They call it the Medicare Advantage plan. And the reason they call it an Advantage plan is because it's driven by two factors. You're entitled to certain benefits if you qualify. You could be a veteran, you could be a railroad, you could be an oil field rigger, seasonal worker, you could be a reentry citizen, whatever the name, title, jurisdiction they want to put you in. But the way they write these Medicare Advantage plans is they write them through the Department of Health and Determination. So these determination departments in each state, they have a department that all they deal with is the determination of your eligibility. And in your eligibility, you give income drivers. These income drivers is what they antidote to make sure that when they give you a qualifying plan by your zip code and your jurisdiction, that they have monopolized. Yeah, I'm gonna use that now. They have monopolized the market to make sure that you get a set price, that it's a set number for the doctors. So the doctors don't want to be in a certain healthcare system or network because the government comes in and monopolizes it by giving it a certain number. We're only gonna give you $150 for prostate. We're only gonna give you $200 for mammograms. But the only way we're gonna pay you is through the medical system that we use, and that's welfare. Now, for everybody, that welfare system isn't sounding right because they call it welfare. So everybody sits around and be like, "Oh, that's welfare. I don't want welfare. Nobody. I don't want no handout, hand down, whatever the fuck, right?" It's not how it works. So, presidents prior to this president rewarded the working class by paying into a system called Social Security. Social Security is a platform that the state pays. That Social Security is supposed to be a hand up, not a handout. So a bunch of kids will make rap music and be like, "I ain't never been in the game for a hand up or a hand down. I'm getting this on my own." Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Let me tell you why, because you don't know what the fuck you talking about, son. Your grandmother can't work. She's on a fixed income. That's the word, right? Because they end up putting her in high rises, homes. Well, the protection is under the Social Security is that they have the income drivers set their life limitations, what they can and cannot afford. So they'll get benefits based upon their need. Got me some coffee. Yeah, you better use your resources.
3 more years, I want to work on 7.
My phone had to work. I'm at work too, so it's got a multitask. So like I said before, I'm a licensed producer for healthcare. All right, so I actually sell healthcare. So the misunderstanding and the misconception is that when you take out $900 billion out of the healthcare system and you call it Medicaid, they're not actually selling you the real sale. They're not giving you the real pill. What they're giving you is the pill of they're gonna reduct. So just 2 years alone, the supplemental D plan increased because Joe Biden said that he was gonna make the healthcare plan cheaper. So when you make the drugs plans cheaper, you run a gamut of the healthcare system having to negotiate with the pill sellers, the insulin sellers. So let me make it smaller for you so you understand. Say you call for an Advantage plan. You call and you'll say, hey, I need an Advantage plan. I'll be like, all right, you need an Advantage plan. Cool. What's your MA number? All right, cool. This is open enrollment or this is your annual? Cool. Boom, I hit search. When I hit search, it auto-populates the MA plan that they're in. Boom, unless there is a new enrollee. Boom. Now I got to ask regulated question because it's a government-funded plan. Boom. Yeah. Do you have any health issues like diabetes? Are you on insulin? Do you take insulin? Right there, as soon as I say insulin, I change the plan. Why? Because insulin is a life sustainable. So eventually, if the person is retired and on a fixed income, the application automatically wants to do a welfare application for them. So by the application already requesting them basically see what their needs are, when I type in their MA number, it basically requires me to say, hey, you need insulin. So since you need insulin, you need to be enrolled in a dual enrollment healthcare plan. So that's a sustainable. So by me saying dual enrollment, I'm now eclipsing federal funding, state funding. So now I'm putting them two together because you need a life sustainable. You need insulin. You need testing material. You need a dialysis service, etc., etc. That's all built into the Medicare formula. All right, so this formula is built into a plan that they only pay for a certain thing: hospitalization, doctors. That's it. You either got to buy a supplemental plan or a drug plan to allow your plan to work cohesively with your everyday needs. So what the dual enrollment plans allow them to say to the state and grant blocks, expansions, Obamacare, prevented the Affordable Care Act, whatever name you need to get this down on your numb ass skull. But this is a license that I have, that you produce. I sit you down and I go through your need. It's called a needs assessment. Once we do your needs assessment, that needs assessment is already auto-populates what is required of them to offer you. So if a person in their zip code, they need a dialysis center, they need a kidney doctor, they need a PCP. I type in their zip code. The zip code auto-populates 5 plans. One plan's a HMO, another plan's a PC or PCP plan. All right. Then there's these sketchy one-offs in there, dual enrollment plans. Now these dual enrollment plans are state plans, federally funded. Most of the time, they're not gonna sit there in front of you and be Judith. The people that's selling you a healthcare plan can't be Judith. They can't be evil. They can't have them because every time I create a plan, the state gets that plan because they're the guarantor. So if I sell an illegal plan, if I misrepresent something and pretending to be a Judith, then that'll allow the state to take my license from me. So I could in no way, shape, or form be a backstabbing, stealing gold off an individual to make this topic relevant. Because to get your producer's license, you have to go to a moderated room and people watch you, and you have to take an accumulative test, and you have to have integrity to do this, because when they read you the questions, you actually know the answers legally to get your producer's license. So this ain't a producer who can synchronize sounds together or produce an image. This is the person who produces someone's safe place, serenity, takes care of longevity, their health. So this has nothing to do about entertainment, being somebody's daddy, trending, being the weatherman. Has nothing to do with this. Sorry. Next topic. So let me show you how to do this again, son. So what happens is when people produce a healthcare plan, they produce it on a needs basis. So you take the needs assessment. I'm gonna keep saying this all day. You have to give a needs assessment. So anybody who's about to turn 65 and they're about to do open enrollment in the fall, they're gonna do a needs assessment. And as soon as you do this needs assessment, this is your opportunity to say, hey, my man, what it look like? Hey, my man, you take diabetes medicine. Hey, my man, I take diabetes medicine. Okay. Hey, my man, do you know that I had to get you into another enrollment plan? Why does the state want to interfere with diabetes medicine? Because that medication you have to take the rest of your life. And it's a variable on it. It can be worth something to them. It can be worth something to them for kickback. It can help them get it funded by the federal government. But they need to keep track of how many people got diabetes, obviously. So when you do an enrollment for your Medicare plan, because see, everybody's 50. Everybody's celebrating their 50th. So they don't know what this plan, with this situation with the 900 billion. Everybody's 50. Nobody listening to me. You're 50. You're not caring what I'm talking about. I do what you don't want to do. So if you on the block selling phenylalanine, all right? So you good at phenylalanine. So you go around, you got the phenylalanine attitude. You got to be able to poison a motherfucker and look him in the eye like that's number 1. That's a 10. That's a 15. I can't do that. I can't jeopardize my livelihood by selling a fake plan by saying, look, man, I'll sell your whole company healthcare insurance. I'll let you get the premium, and then once y'all start paying this premium back, I'll give you the premium back as a kickback if you give me all 50 of your employees on my books. That's a crime. If I get caught doing that, the state of Pennsylvania can take my license from me. So catch up with that. Judah, you're going to call somebody something, but let's make sure that, you know, somebody's competent, capable, and able and willing and educated enough to explain it to you, because it's not going to be funny when they read it down to you, when they run you down with the facts. You're going to come looking for them. Now you want to escalate something because you didn't know that there's actually a process that goes along with this. Because you 50, it's a joke. Because you 50, it don't matter. Because you 50, I'm just good. Because when you turn 64, 65, you're required to go and apply for a Medicare A and B plan. Period. So if you don't make $1,500 for 3 quarters, or you don't make a certain amount of financial gain before you're 64, 65, you will not be eligible for Medicare. So the platform is called Medicare. The resource is Medicaid. It's a platform. Everyone's entitled to MA. You're entitled to A and B if you work and pay into it. So everybody's not entitled to it because they 50 just learned how to work when they was 40. So now they made a little Lucky Charms hit. So now they got to go and continue bashing everybody else because I made it, you didn't. That's the same thing what y'all complain about the president. Is the same thing that y'all emulate. So you can't be mad at a leader. The leader leads just like his people operate. So you can't get mad at that. You got to know how to play the game. So once again, so you do the determination, dedication, and discipline thing in life, and you sit down and you're willing to let someone tell you something because you don't know everything. You then get educated on how the process works. So at the end of the day, they can laugh all they want. But at the end of the day, I'll be laughing knowing that my job that I have alone, as long as I keep this job inside the job I have, I'm in the Medicare platform. So I wouldn't have to do no explanation. I'm paying into the process now by being in an EPO plan. So once again, not only am I working in the right environment, but I'm paying into the environment that the 64-year-olds are taking advantage of right now. So I don't have anything to look back in my past and say, I wish I'd have did things differently. I'm doing exactly what God landed me in to continue to do the things I need to do. Because the more you have, the more you have to do. So you can't be concerned about this person with a 12-bedroom house. Do you realize they have 12 problems that go along with that 12-bedroom house? Do you realize that they got to take care of the landscape, the hedges, the trees that fall on their house? I ain't competing with that nonsense. But people want to live up to that. So your health care is basically at 64, 65 is determined by your income. That's it. So the more people have you believe that this $900 billion is not affecting you, it will now affect anybody who use the healthcare system through their income. So if you're 70 and you work at home, retired, how y'all doing?
Yeah, man, how you doing today?
Living the dream.
Yeah, who's doing?
Mine. It ain't a nightmare yet. Did they give y'all? No, Davidson didn't give y'all.
No, I gotta go up and get you
Keep up. You gonna get one for Pat?
Yeah.
All right. So you don't need me to let you up. You're going to L.
Yep, yep.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Have a good day.
You too, man.
Producer license. I have my producer's license. Do you have your producer's license? Can you educate people on healthcare? Heater. I ain't touched no heater. I ain't a heater. I don't know anything about a heater. continue saying, the process in which you write or produce a healthcare plan is done by someone who has a producer's license. If you don't have a producer's license, you can't sell health insurance. So if you don't have a producer's license, how would you be able to tell someone how insurance works? So I don't understand why you would think you would be able to delegitimize somebody who's only explaining to you the factual information that a 64-year-old person will have to go through in 2026. So if you're listening to people that are all 50 years old, they're giving you 50-year-old people problems. They're telling you what it's like to be a 50-year-old. They're explaining to you what it's like to get to 50. Okay, move up a little bit more. We need you to go up to 64 now. We need you to move up 14 years. Tell us what it's like when you're 14 years older. Make it easier for people to understand the transition. The election was won by boys. So you got a bunch of boys out here making grown man decisions. Fine with me. You gotta go fight and shoot bullets and shit. Hoorah. Not gonna take that away from a man. But when you make manly decisions, you don't care about the domestic issues that go along with it. God said there'll only be one head in the house. I get it. But you did have to have a helpmate. So he lets you give them a rib. They don't believe that part. They think you part of their bosom because they birthed you. Just take that time to think about it, man. The healthcare system was designed for working people going to world wars and different escalations that they needed the American people. But it spelled out what is there to do. It's there to be a safety net. And to offer it, you have to be licensed to produce it. So it'd be just like the dude that got mad at Diddy because his album bust. He went and got a whole lawsuit going, jeopardized this man's freedom, defamed him because he was a sore loser. Because he was a producer and what he tried to produce didn't pan out. So now everybody's going around trying to call somebody a monster. But it's not a crime to be a freak. That's why I had nothing bad to say about Diddy. And I'm glad that he stood tall and he will be exonerated today. Because to be a producer, you got to be able to produce what people want. You got to be able to produce what people want to see. And just because people are mad at what they saw doesn't mean he didn't produce things you like to see. If you want to see a producer do something well, go see Sarah Bartman's story. If you want to see a producer, then go see the stories about Nelson Mandela. Then see how the producer narrates that. But he had to be a difference maker in a time where people probably didn't want the Nelson Mandela story to be told. So before you start kicking everybody down and pointing the finger thinking that you were flawless and you were without flaw, just know what you do in the dark it must come to the light. So for $900 billion, anyone that thinks that this cult, this tradition was only going to affect the poor, it's in your platform that you sign up for when you hit the age of 64. So all the people that said there won't be Social Security, this is the breaking point. It won't be Social Security because it being insolvent. It won't be no Social Security because the platform that Medicare works off is called Medicaid. It's called dual enrollment. Hospice, aging services. Don't believe me? Please don't believe me. Please don't believe me.